Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful M365 community conference and looking forward to the attendee party today. In this session, we will talk about how we are evolving collaboration in teams, making it easier to collaborate in channels for everyone. My name is Roshan Lal Rameshan. I'm a group product manager on the Teams team responsible for core collaboration in Teams and across chats and channels. And with me today, I'm joined by Derek.
Yeah, I'm Derek Snook, lead product manager, also on the team. So we are teams inside Teams that works on Teams and channels. So we're excited to be here today. So thanks for joining us.
We are on a mission to make Teams the AI-powered platform for work, one that is secure, simple, and smart. Security is our number one priority, as I'm sure you would have heard, across many sessions, at Ignite from Satya to a couple of days back from Jeff at the keynote, so that's the secure part. Then the smart aspect is all around our customers seek AI solutions that work for them, help them transform their workflows, make every user productive, right? And that is on the smart side. But in today's session, we are going to be focusing on how we are evolving Teams to be more simple. We want users to be able to kind of collaborate in Teams, help them stay on top, catch up on everything efficiently, right in the flow of work within Teams. So a lot of what you're going to hear from us today, and a large part of that is demos, like Derek is going to demo the experience, including a lot of recent experiences that help Teams be simpler. That is what the focus of this session is going to be. We wanted to spend a bit of time in terms of, we have been talking to a lot of customers, a lot of users, organizations like yours, and learning about what the challenges are. What we found is that users find it hard, to stay on top. There are so many things happening across, like in terms of communication, collaboration, email, within Teams, chats, channels, synchronous, asynchronous, in meetings, outside of it, across time zones with hybrid work, that they find it hard to stay on top. And a parallel to that is also that they find it hard to collaborate effectively, not just at the individual level in terms of staying on top of communication and collaboration, but as work groups come together, especially in the hybrid world. How can they collaborate effectively? That is a challenge that users constantly tell us that this way where there are distributed work groups across multiple geos, and then they have synchronous collaboration, asynchronous collaboration, switching back and forth between them. It is hard from an effective collaboration perspective. And the third aspect of this is staying focused. Despite being always on and always connected, there is such a stream of information coming at them, so many things demanding their time and attention, that users find it hard to stay focused. And despite being always connected, they always fear that they are missing out on something that is important, that is going on, that they are not able to catch up and stay on top of. So for today, we are going to talk about how Teams is going to help users address these pain points. And before we started solving for these, we kind of laid out some grounding principles for ourselves in terms of how we can go about designing that solution. The first principle that we laid out was that the experience is going to be simple by default and powerful on demand. Teams serves over 300 million users across a variety of industries, variety of segments, and no two of them work exactly the same. We talk to users, and we talk to one user, and they say, okay, this is exactly how I collaborate, how I stay on top. You talk to the next user, they're like, this user is crazy. I cannot imagine how they work that way, right? So we need to make sure that we have an experience that caters to every single user that is out there. But out of the box, we want that experience to be simple, but also adaptable, so that users can tailor it and organization can tailor it for their particular use case and scenario. One aspect that we talked about from a pain point that we understood from users is in terms of how hard it is to stay on top, catch up, collaborate effectively. And one aspect of that we learned is that collaboration today is fragmented in many different places, right? There are many meetings, there are group chats, there are multiple channels, there are emails, there are documents, that all, like everything that they need to stay on top of. So one of the principles we have, what we want to try and achieve, and which is a large part of today's discussion in terms of where channels come into play, is in terms of what we call coalescing collaboration, like having better collaboration in fewer places so that the number of places and the context switching that you need to do is lessened so that you can actually stay on top of better collaboration in fewer places. And the third principle we have is staying in the flow. Collaboration does not start and end with messages. There are a lot more, like, you need to collaborate on documents. You need to fluidly transition between synchronous collaboration, meetings, audio, video, as well as asynchronous collaboration. Across time zones, you need to catch up, etc. How do we help users stay in the flow of work, catch up effectively without having to be constantly in the mode of context switching, either across tools or within the same tools, etc. So these were 3 grounding principles that we laid out as we started working on a solution. And one thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of how we can help is where chats and channels fit in, and especially how channels can address a lot of these, right? Chats, and one of the gentlemen over here was asking us this question just before we started this session. Chats are great for quick, lightweight communication, back and forth, etc. But for durable collaboration, we recommend that you use channels, right? For a variety of reasons. One is that channels bring all of these different, like they bring people and documents and loop and the rest of M365 and first and third party application, meetings, all of these together into one space, into a coalesced collaboration that everybody can easily stay on top of. So that is why we recommend channels, and we will talk more about a lot of these experiences that actually make channels the great and the preferred destination for this durable collaboration. And we also wanted to center ourselves in terms of how we can help improve collaboration in terms of certain durable outcomes. The first one, which we already talked about in terms of the user pain points, etc., help users stay on top of what matters and collaborate effectively. The next one is making a bet on channels in terms of being this preferred destination that users actually can kind of stay on top of easily, and work groups, not just individuals, but entire work groups can collaborate effectively. And we want to build this experience in such a way, including the principles that we called out, especially the first principle with respect to being simple by default and powerful on demand for our users across the spectrum of their expertise, skill set, what their needs are. We want to build an experience that helps, that users love and prefer to use as a daily habit. So with that, let me hand it over to Derek, who will demo the recent improvements to make collaboration in teams simpler and make channels this preferred destination for collaboration.
Yeah, thanks so much, Roshan. So, yep, we've been rolling out a number of updates that are helping everyone stay focused and stay productive through a number of ways. So I'm going to give you a few examples, and then we'll dig in deep on the new chat and channels experience as well. So it's really important in terms of focus to reduce clutter, reduce noise. And so we've done some things here to really improve that experience for you. With a streamlined and simplified settings for your notifications across meetings, chat, and channels, you decide what kind of notifications you want to get and what you don't want to hear so that you get more signal and less noise, what's important to you. And we also now allow you to hide the general channel. So if the general channel of a team you're a member of is not so interesting for you, you can hide that. But you can also transform general into a much more purposeful channel by giving it a great name, give it a name other than general. So you can now rename the general channel as well. And we're also going to roll out an improvement. So if you have been trying this out and changed a name from general and you needed to go back because maybe you have some automation and some other workflow that integrates with general, we'll be bringing that capability back as well. So if you do need the general name, you can use that. But otherwise, give it a purposeful name. This is our recommendation. Have every channel have a very clear purpose in that name. And of course, you can archive channels. So when you are done with a project and you want to clean up your list, you can archive, but that content is still available. If you need to get back to it any time, and reference it, it's still there. Go search or can restore that. We've been talking to a lot of developers, engineering teams. What's really important for them to stay in the flow and be really productive inside teams? So you have things like a compact mode layout, as well as keyboard shortcuts and a number of slash commands that really help you move fast and efficiently, get things done quickly for our developers. If you're a developer and engineer, you've been trying these out, we'd love to hear your feedback, or if there's something missing, please find us. We'd love to hear more about what to do next on those commands. Then we introduce co-editable code blocks, so you can share code in a message, and it will retain the syntax of the coding language you're using. You can copy that with a click, paste it back into an IDE, for example. With the power of Loop, you can co-author that code block right in your message, and then update it, copy it out into your IDE and continue working. So we are dedicated to making more of these improvements so every developer and every engineer can stay in the flow and be highly productive within teams. We also added the ability to really express yourself and your team's culture with custom emojis. Heard a lot of feedback on this, that people love being able to upload an image and use it for a reaction or in line with a message, and really in just one symbol express yourself and make your feelings known. So we also want to say, though, this comes with controls. Admins can decide who has the power to create the custom emoji or delete them, or even turn off the feature if needed, because I think we all know with great emoji power comes great emoji responsibility. Sorry, hello, I'm back. All right. Anytime you need to have a synchronous, on-the-spot discussion, you can do that right from a channel or in a chat with the Meet Now button. When you hit Meet Now, you'll start an audio or video call. Anyone can join right in, and you can come together to make a decision. But let's talk about the new chat and channels experience. We've just rolled this out to the commercial cloud, generally available now, and we're excited to get more feedback and continue to improve this experience. But there's so much already in there that is transformative to how you work. And I'm gonna walk you through with a demo and give you some tips on how I'm using the new chat channels experience as well. For the special clouds, GCC, GCC High, and others, that's coming up next. We'll be rolling those out over the next couple months, so stay tuned. Before I dig in, I want to give you a recap with a video to introduce the feature, and then we'll go into the demo. All right, sweet. And that was me when I had longer hair in the video, so you might have recognized me. Okay, you might be asking, is it really that simple by default? Is it really that powerful on demand? Yes, I think so, and I'm gonna show you right now. So yeah, let's start off from the start when you start the new experience. So when you get into the new chat channels experience, you will find that your chats, teams, and channels are combined in the new chat app. So in one list, so you can catch up, stay on top of everything without switching apps or contexts. Here at the top of my list, I have the favorites section. And with favorites, all my pinned items from before, chats and channels, are migrated over into the new favorites list. So I have actually my chats and channels together because I'm in the combined view. And then below that are all your chats, and then all my teams and channels. In the hierarchy that I know from before, it's the same layout, but now it's here in one list. And we've improved favorites, so you can now pin or favorite up to 50 items. So I think this is in celebration of 50 years of Microsoft, 50 favorites just for you. So, and all right. And yeah, so let me talk a little bit about how some of the other features are around here. And then we'll talk about kind of optimizing this list to work for you. At the top above my list of chats and channels, I have these filters. And the filters allow me to quickly narrow down and focus my time. So I can see just the unread items, anything I've missed that I want to catch up on, I can filter that list down right away. I can also, since I'm in the combined view, and maybe I just want to see what's happening in the channels for a moment, or in my chats, or meeting chats, you can do that as well. You can combine these filters. So if I want to see, show me my channels, but just the unread channels, I need to catch up here next. Then you can combine those filters and see just those items. We also have a text filter. So here at the top, when I click the button, get the text field, and maybe I have the idea of the message or the channels I'm looking for. So I'll look for marketing and go to market, and just a few keystrokes, and I've filtered that list right down. Now, right below these filters, I have the new mentions view. So you see this mentions button, super powerful. Nothing is more relevant in our messaging than I think that when someone directly mentions you. They're calling you out for your input and your involvement. And so with this button, I open up the new mentions view, which brings together every direct mention from chats and channels, all the conversations into one interactive list. And when I click on a message, the side pane will open up to give me the full context of that channel or the chat, so I can see everything that's going on there. Okay, let me catch up and react or reply, and then move on to the next one. And so that's an amazing way to catch up just on your mentions. And this list is retained in recency order. So even if you've caught up and caught up and read and everything, and then you want to go back and revisit what were those hot items that I was tracking, you can come back anytime to that mentions view. Down here in my set of chats and channels, I have, again, my favorites, chats, and my teams and channels. But you can also create custom sections to organize this list for different projects and topics. And if I hit this menu here on the right, new item, I'll just select new section. You just type a name. Let's say it's Projects Alexandria. It will create a new section here below your favorites. It starts empty, but it's easy to get this going and have your key content. So here's a chat, but I have some of the different research that's going on. I need this channel in there. And then there's also going to be a social campaign. So I'll bring this right up. So it's just that easy to drag and drop into your new section. In fact, it will remember the order. So maybe actually have the R&D channel is the most important. I'm going to put that at the top. So this is called a custom order. And it's something where anytime you want to reorient it, you can just drag and drop. But I can also choose most recent. So if I want to see this list in the order of what's recent, I can keep it. It's always going to be up to date with the order of when the last message was. Now, I'll take a couple of these items, and I'm going to choose to mark it as unread and use this to demonstrate the unread only option. This is a view where if you really want to have sort of an inbox zero opportunity within the section, so that you always see what's new and unread, and then as you read it, those items will go off this list. So here I'll click on this message in the group chat, and sorry, let me click this again for unread only. And as I read each item, you'll see it kind of pops off the list. But they're still just a click away. I can click this see read item and get back to things. But if I really want that sort of inbox zero experience where I've zeroed out, caught up on everything, then those items will disappear from my list. Cleaning it up and then popping back in if there's a new unread item. But it's also, yeah, try to fix my audio that's popping in and out. Give me 1 second.
While Derek is getting mic'd up, the unread view is really powerful. Let's say you need to stay on top of 10 different chats or channels, or even 20 or 30.
Oh, what's that?
What you could do is you could organize them into that one section, set it to unread only, and as long as you don't have a new message, it will stay collapsed. It doesn't take up any space. It doesn't come in the way of your daily triage. But then the moment an instant the new message comes in, it'll automatically pop up.
Hey,
you read
so
it,
much.
it'll automatically kind of collapse back again. And the advantage here is that you don't have to compromise between having a logical organization for a set of things that you want to stay on top of versus how that is actually kind of getting into the way of your daily triage. If you have 20 items and you have read all of them, you don't want them getting in the way all the time. So depending on what type of, there might be certain people whom you collaborate with very often. That's what you used to pin earlier in chat and in the Teams app. Now you can bring that into favorites. And each one of these sections has all of these powerful capabilities with respect to customizing it. And some of these sections have even more capabilities that Derek will demonstrate in a bit. But this is something that we use very regularly in, each one of us configure it in the way we want it to be used, and then helps us stay on top of, of that particular project. I believe there was a question there.
Yeah. How many items in the section? You can have 50 items in each section. You can have up to 50 sections, actually. You can keep creating more. That's a total of 2,500 pinned items. So if anyone's done that, please let me know. I'd like to see your configuration.
Yeah, we recommend you don't have that many items, or if you do, like, have it in a few sections, but then set it to unread only, etc. Because otherwise, there is a clear trade-off here between, like, if you just take a messaging app that is very simple, new chat comes in, it bubbles right to the top. So there is a trade-off here between creating more sections and have a richer organization, richer structure, that then you need to kind of manually go kind of navigate versus, having things pop to the top. And then the custom sort options help kind of balance these two out, where, if you're trending towards creating more sections with more items, you can use the custom sort options to make sure that, you can stay on top of everything seamlessly. Totally. And this again comes back to the power on demand kind of scenario, because you can customize it to the way you work. But for the simple by default user, we start with 3 sections, right? You have favorites, which is all your pinned chats and channels. You have chats, which is ordered by a recency. And then you have your teams and channels. Yeah. But you can customize it.
Yeah, and so what I like to do, I have about a dozen favorites, which is my immediate team and the channels we work in. I like to have a section that's just about this project. So we have some channels around our new chat channels experience. And I order that by recency because I want to know when there's something new, but I want to get to all of them all the time, and then it's a custom sorter for my favorites, in priority order. And then I keep a rotating project section. So it's hot projects for that week or month, and you can remove things just as easy as you add them. You can drag them out, or from the menu, you can choose to remove from the section. So it's nice sometimes to do a little bit of pruning and keep your sections up to date, because this is what you're seeing at the very top of your list.
Yeah, and we talked about 2 different, I talked about my style, Derek talked about his style. I'll also kind of take Chandresh, who's here, who's an engineering leader on the team side, and Aparna, who's there. I know from Chandresh that, one of the things that he does is he has a section called catch-up. So if there is something that he needs to follow up on, he moves it to the catch-up section so that he knows he can kind of deterministically follow up on that one, find it. So to each person, there are different styles of working. Yeah. We want to make sure that it is flexible and adaptable for each style of working.
That's the power on demand, and it adapts to what you need. So we talked a lot about the power of channels for durable collaboration. And here's my channels list down at the bottom. And what if you do have a lot of sections and your list is getting long? I'll demonstrate by making my window a little smaller. But when that Teams and Channels section is off your screen, we'll put a quick navigation bar at the bottom, and you'll see that it's bolded because there's unread items there, and there's actually an @mention symbol too, because I've been mentioned down there as well. And so this is a reminder and a quick way to teleport and jump right to that part of my list and carry on from there. But there are, of course, other ways to elevate channels into the core way that you work. Another option here is going to be moving from that Teams and Channels hierarchy. Let's say I've curated my list to the channels that I'm active in, that I need to be on top of. You can choose to display this as a flat list of channels in this section. And it will remove that hierarchy and just show me, starting in recency order, all the channels that are shown in my list. If you have a general channel, it will appear with the name of the team, so you can differentiate between all the general channels too in your list as well. Now, for a bird's eye view of all your sections, you can choose to collapse all sections up here from the More Options menu. And you can see I have some things that are bold because they have some unreads, and some things are not bold. But of course, you can also rearrange the order of all your sections to meet your needs. So if you are working openly with your work group to stay on top and have durable collaboration in channels, you can bring that list above your chats and have it right there. Maybe it's right after your favorites. And so just in a couple steps, I've moved from that traditional list, the simple by default case, and said, you know what, I've curated my channel list, and I want these top of mind. I'm going to drag it right up as a flat list and focus there.
Question?
Yeah.
You move a channel out into like your projects thing or whatever. If you were to go back to the original team that was in, is the channel still there?
Yeah.
I'll just repeat the question. The question was that if you add a channel to a section and then you go back down to the Teams and Channels view, is the channel still there, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, the channel is still there.
Yeah, so you can make, in this hierarchical view of the traditional view of teams and channels, it will stay there as well. So I can move this up to my favorites, for example, the go-to-market plan. But to keep that hierarchy in place, you'll notice that it's still down here as well. And when I click on the menu for the options, it will say I can show this in one of my sections. And here you can see that I can remove it from a section. But when I'm in the flat list of channels, instead the option becomes move. So now we don't have that hierarchy to maintain. If you want the hierarchy, it will stay in that same hierarchy that you want. But if you're in the flat list, you can choose to move it now so you don't duplicate it in the list and say, yeah, I've just got a flat list of items, and move it up and move it down.
So I'll come back to it. Just one comment here is that in general, the principle that we follow is that an item can be only in one section at a time. The only exception is channels in the teams and channels hierarchy view, because we believe it will be confusing. If I know that there is this channel in the team, and 2 months ago, I moved it to a section, I set it to 100 only, and then I come back and I can't find this channel. So that is the only exception where we duplicate it. But in general, the principle is that we avoid duplication. And the reason we avoid duplication is also because, as you see, if there is a net mention or bolding, etc., we kind of indicate that in the user experience. We did not want one item to be there in multiple places, and then it actually bolds multiple times or just does multiple net mention. So as a general principle, to keep it simple, an item can be put only in one section. But I believe you had a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you grouped it up like you had, is there a way from there to tell it to go to the team that it belonged to?
Great question. So the question was that if you added a channel to a section, from there, is there a way to go to the team? And there are, yes, multiple ways. There are 2 ways to do that.
Yeah, so we have if you hover over the team, the channel icon, we have this channel card, and there's a shortcut here that will take you to the team right there.
So that card actually, the channel card actually shows you a lot more context about the channel, and you can get to the channel card either from the header or even from the chats and channels itself. If you just hover over the channel, the team avatar in the channel list.
That's super powerful. And then there's also, you said there's another way.
In the context menu, there should be at the bottom. Good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you'll have a shortcut here as well.
Whichever, if you need more, so 2 parts to it. If you need more context about, hey, which channel is this, announcements in marketing or sales, you can look up the card and then decide to go to the team. But if you know where this is, or if you just want to jump to the team, you can directly do it from the context menu.
That gives, hey, Chandresh, go ahead. Oh, yeah, question here.
The video showed the team's icon being dragged onto chat. Was that just for the video?
Yes, it was. So the question is, in the video, we see the team's icon get kind of dragged into the chat, into this combined view. Yeah, that was a visual metaphor for combining, but you can, of course, rearrange the items on the left, but you can't drag them into each other.
So it was mainly saying that the default experience we had before was that you had the chat app and then you had the Teams app. With the new experience, the default is that the functionality of both of them is combined into one app, the new chat app, which includes the chat app and the Teams app functionality, the Teams and channels. It is the default, but it can be changed, and we will come to that. Yeah.
So let's talk about.
Sorry, there were a few more questions, Derek. I believe there was a question.
Then we'll cover how to do
that. Right. We will get to how to do that. Yes.
So I have 2 questions. Question number 1, on the move to menu, when you go to the move to menu on the right, the options for the groups, what is the order that you see in there? Is it alphabetical? Is it the order in which I created it?
Yeah, got it. So the question was, when you go to the move to menu to add an item to a section, what is the order in which the sections are shown?
The answer to that question is something Aparna is going to tell us.
Yeah, it's in the order that is in your rail, right? Yeah, it's how you organize. So as you move items back and forth, it should change.
Yeah. All right.
Right? It's the order.
Real demo just for you.
Right.
Yeah.
A core principle that we follow is that this experience over here, the chats and channels list, your list. You get to organize it the way you choose to organize it. Which is why one of the changes we made intentionally is that earlier we used to have pinned, and pinned had dedicated behavior. It meant something. But we now changed it to favorites by default. All of it migrated over. All your existing pinned items are there. But you can rename favorites. You can move favorites. You want to call favorites something else, you can choose to do that, right? It's your organization. It's how you choose to stay on top of stuff. Start simple by default, but full power to customize it.
And did you have a second question?
Actually, yes, and I don't know if the second one has an answer to it. So sometimes when I'm working, right, and I get notifications, and I have a message notification, and it's a chat, and this chat includes a lot of people. I want to move this chat to a group, but I don't know where it is on the list. Is there a way for me to move it right there when I see it in the notification and I open it?
Yeah, so the question, if I may repeat it and let me know if I got this right, is that sometimes you get a notification about some activity in the chat, which would typically be like, let's say, an at mention in a chat, and you go to activity, and you see that at mention, in which case it shows the chat, and like, oh, this is an important chat. I need to follow up on this. I did not realize this exists. How do I move it to a section so that I can organize it from there? Answer is yes, you can do it. Derek, do you mind? I don't know if you have a activity item that you can show it. So what you do is you go to activity. If you go to the first one, and go to the overflow to the extreme right. Sorry, this is a that's not a chat.
So let me go to, let me see where I'm at.
We don't have we are trying to find a chat so that we can, these are all threads. If you just go to channel.
This is a channel-centric culture, which is
if you do
great.
go to channel, Derek, if you just do go to channel there.
Which one?
At the top, item, go to channel on the right.
Oh,
in the header.
Here, yeah.
Right? Actually, sorry, this one just jumps there. So that's for the channel. But we don't, unfortunately, have an at mention in a chat. But what you can do is if you go to that the overflow menu, you would have a move to section right there. Yeah, you can show it in the chat itself, Derek, not in the chat, like,
Okay.
It's the same functionality. Like if you go to any chat there, that chat, the next one, and go to the overflow,
So you'll see
you see that same option
as well.
is available from activity as well.
Yeah, great.
Any other questions before we get to the rest of the demo? All right. Derek.
Cool. Yeah, so a question about, what else can you do? Can you change some of these options for the view in addition to organizing it to work for you? Yeah, so right here at the top, we have more list options, and there's a button called Customize View. This will take you right to the settings. So this is where you can choose, for example, if you do want to have your chats and channels separated, so you can choose the separate layout, and then you'll get your Teams app will show up there, and your Teams and channels will now be in that list, in that app, and your chats will stay in the chat app. Here's where you can also turn on and off message previews and also the team names for channels. So if you actually, you didn't want to wait to hover over the channel icon or the team icon for the team name, you can always display the team name next to the channel by turning this toggle on. You'll also have a few other settings like a comfy or versus a compact layout. Compact will give you a little more density, more content on the screen at a glance for you to look at, and comfy will space it out a little bit more, and you get to choose that layout here right in settings. So yeah, it's just a number of ways to help you get what you want out of this experience. And now that I'm in this separate experience of teams and channels hierarchy here and my chats here, I still get all this value of the new filters, the custom sections, the mentions view. Now sections and mentions will now just show me chats in this view, and they will show me channels in this view. And you can go back anytime. So this is something where if you want to code try this again, or if you're switching and trying a few different things, you can make that adjustment anytime you want. So change anytime, yeah.
And by default, we optimize for a view that shows more of your information, which is why one of the changes we made as the default is that message previews are not on by default on desktop. And we'll demonstrate mobile, where mobile we left it on by default. But if you want to toggle it on, do you mind just showing because one of the questions we get is, oh, I wish if I could see the team and the team name next to the channels at all time, or I want to see message previews. And if you go ahead and turn on that setting, if you just go to customize view and turn on message previews, and you come back here, even in the unified view, you will see that wherever there is a channel, the team name would be shown, even if it is in a section. And then for chats, you would get to see the message preview, and then you get to see the timestamp, so you know when the last message came in.
Yeah. Cool.
Question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there a way for us to, I know it comes in a certain default format, is there a way for us to change some of that to ease our user base in, so to do part of it and then we add another piece to it or something
Okay.
like that?
Yeah, so if you're-
There's default settings,
Yeah.
then there's lock setting. We don't want to lock.
Yeah.
But I want to maybe decide how to start. I'll start.
If I may play back your question, if I understood your question correctly, as an admin, is there a way for the organization to choose a different set of defaults to ease the users into the experience, right? The answer is right now, no, there is not a way for the organizations to customize how it is. What we have done is we ran this in private and public preview for a very extended period to kind of learn and see how it lands and get the feedback, etc., to make sure that we can strike the right balance between easing users in versus getting everybody onto the experience as quickly as possible. So we ran that for an extended period, and what we learned through that process, including with public preview where we had millions of users actually using it, is that with the right onboarding experience, which we are not showing today, but there is an onboarding experience that as the experience rolls out, or when it's rolled out earlier, the users kind of get to see this information saying that this is coming. They get to decide, do I get on it right away, or I can defer it for a few days, up to a week. And then after that, they get switched over. And then there are experiences that tell them and train them that if you want to customize it, here is where you go to customize it. So we built those experience. So compared to where we started, when we started the evaluation after we built in and we simplified a lot of things along the way, we actually found that users were able to, one of our primary goals were to ensure that users can self-serve and get to their preferred state without either kind of having a lot of support issues or IT having to take a lot of action. And that's what gave us the confidence after we learned at scale to actually roll it out. And even when we, and this is just sharing transparently in terms of this, we rolled out over a month intentionally just to make sure that what we learned earlier applied during the actual rollout at scale to hundreds of millions of users as well. That's why, unlike a traditional release where we just roll it out very quickly in a matter of days or weeks, we actually did it over the month of April. And this was one of the reasons, is to make sure that this validation that we did before actually holds true. And what we found is that that was accurate and that this was the case. But if there is feedback in terms of, and new users will get defaulted to the new experience again because they don't have a before-after in some sense to come, especially if they are new to the workforce or new to the M365 ecosystem, right? So new users,
Still go back to the old way.
they can still go. Everybody can still go back. Like if they want to choose to have it separate, in the sense that they are not going back to what existed before, so there is this new experience where the user can choose to combine or separate them, but all the users get all the benefit of the new filters, they get the benefit of organization via sections, the 50 items in per section, all of those benefits every user gets.
With the migration of having chats and Teams channels integrated together, would there be just an option to integrate a chat within the channel?
Oh.
Could you say more the question? So what I heard was that with the new experience that brings chats and channels together, is there an option to have a chat within a channel?
Right.
Could you say more what you mean? Yeah.
Now, chats are stored in OneDrive when the person who created that channel, compared to a team, which is stored in SharePoint, which
Yeah.
all the organizational stuff would be stored in there.
Yeah.
And so whenever a chat is created, even if you do Project Alexandria, are they still separate?
Yeah, so if I understood the question correctly, today chats and channels, as I called out earlier, are different because chats are more anchored around the user and the user resources, like OneDrive for Business. So if you share a file in a chat, it gets put on your OneDrive for Business, whereas the channel is backed by an M365 group and you have the SharePoint site. So if you share a document in a channel, that is actually on the SharePoint group. That model doesn't change with the new chats and channels experience. Even if the user puts them together in a section, it is just a user organization helping them to stay on top and catch up. It does not change the underlying structure of the chat or the channel. It does not change the underlying compliance or governance model.
As a follow-up, I come from the university, so I have multiple departments, and those departments have their own Teams channels, which we like encourage them to store their documents into that SharePoint channel.
Yeah.
But they eventually just ended up just creating a team that encompasses all their employees, and they store all those documents there, and then when those employees leave, those documents is lost until we have more backbone people that harvest all those documents. So having a chat channel within the Teams channel would be more beneficial because that's where they have it. Because right now they use general as a more of a chat channel, but it's more like a discussion board compared to chat channel. I would like to see a chat within a team so that way whenever the team is created, they can actually just share their correspondences there. And any documents that are shared go straight to the SharePoint.
Right. So
Uploading the documents to SharePoint team channel and then having to link that from that to the channel of the chat, which is tedious because all the faculty and staff are more golden age, I would say. And so having to store something somewhere else and then link it to the chat channel as a continuous discussion breaks a lot of workflow. And so just having a chat within where everything is just going to be, regardless, makes more sense.
right. So the question was more like, can we have a chat associated with a team, which is more like just a regular chat, but the documents, etc., actually are on SharePoint and not on OneDrive, right? So it's not exactly that, but one of the things that we have announced that is coming later towards the middle of this year, summer general availability, is that you can create channels that we call which have threaded conversations as a conversational experience. So what it means is that within a team, like the general channel example that you are using, you can create a channel, or even for the general channel, and change what the conversation, like today in a channel, the conversation is post and replies. So one of the feedback that we hear from users is that the post and replies are very formal and they use it when they want to officially communicate something, as compared to the free-flow collaboration they have as what they call chat. But what you can do is you can configure any channels starting middle of this year moving forward to be conversational. But not just a flat list of messages. You can selectively have structure when required without any friction by having threading, right? So you can take any message and reply to it, and unlike the case today where the reply comes, like it moves the conversation and you have a new reply, it'll just be a conversation thread associated with that, right? And we are building in more fine-grained these things where users can say, I want to follow this thread, or I do not want to follow this thread, etc. Unlike post-reply, it does not move the conversation and change the order of the conversation. So if you want to have a simple chat, you can use it like a simple chat. Whenever you want to reply to something, in a channel. So any channel. And existing channels can be converted without any loss of fidelity as well. And once you have conversations, you can also switch it back to post reply if you decide that is the right one, right? So for users who are very familiar with just messaging, just the simple chat, they should be able to do so within any team, any channel, pretty soon.
So when you change that channel message type,
Yeah.
it changes it for everything underneath, or you can do that with specific messages?
No, it changes it for the entire channel, for everybody in the channel from then on. And then if you want, you can change it back, right? Like if you need to do so. But it is a channel owner, team owner action to switch it.
Nice if you could do both.
As in have,
I mean, just having a
Kind of an
message
announcement.
yeah.
that you can, oh, I want to be able to thread this specific conversation versus, but also have posts.
So what we will support is that you can have the richness of posts there as well. You could have a message that has a title, though all those are optional. So you can start with a channel that has just simple bubble chat, messages, not even threading, just messages.
Okay.
Then you can reply to that and create a thread, or you can actually put in a rich announcement, like with a title, banner, etc. So you can do all of it in one stream.
Oh, that'd be nice. Oh, that,
Yeah.
okay. Woo!
Stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned for more coming to public preview coming up. Yeah. So, well,
Was there? I thought I saw another raise. Oh yes, please go ahead.
It was sort of answered, but coming from a prominent competitor, when we were piloting this, we found communication ceased in the Teams posts altogether because there was this level of comfort in just having that chat experience. So that's why a feature like that is incredibly important. Migrating our organization, we found that that's just the style of communication that they've gotten used to, and the teams became basically shells to view things like pinned documents or planners. So the second part of my question was going to be, is there any ability in the future to add other elements to the sections, like a plan or other item, because I'm finding that a lot of our users are putting teams in those sections as reference points to see a pinned item or to see a plan, not necessarily any of the content posts.
Yeah, so it's two parts of it. So the first part of your question is that, yes, we absolutely are going to have threaded conversations in channels, which is a very familiar chat-like experience. And I did not touch upon this earlier, but what that unlocks also, and this is not coming by the middle of this year, but it is coming later, is also that with this type of conversational similarity between chats and channels, it also allows us in future to take a group chat and make that into a channel. If for some reason somebody started a deep collaboration in a group chat and you have hundreds of people in a group chat and it is actually being, overused as a channel instead of a channel, you can in future take the group chat and make that into a channel, right? So having a compatible conversational modality, it's very hard to take individual messages and make them into post and replies because it will make no sense whatsoever because, I say hi, you say hi, and that becomes two posts. That doesn't make sense. But, these would come together seamlessly, and then you can have threading, etc., and richer post types. To the second part of the question, we do want, and this is what we want to or what we are covering in this thing, is that we want this channels to be the durable anchor for collaboration that brings together all of these. Because any collaboration that starts with, let's say, if it is a plan or any other artifact, a document, etc., we do want to ensure that this experience that you see over here, the channel becomes similar to the question that was asked earlier. Even if you start with a plan, the next task would be, okay, I need to have a conversation associated with the plan. I need to have a document associated with the plan. And pretty soon, you would just work your way backwards into a channel. So the only things that you can add here are chats and channels. And in future, any such collaboration spaces, right? But we are keeping that pretty tightly scoped to, And it's not just because of that. There is a lot more functionality that we want to build along with including with chats and channels. For example, the ability to have collaborative meetings within it, right? So chats and channels support that capability where you can have meetings, where you can share documents, where you can share loop, right? And that's something that we can demonstrate quickly if you're not familiar with the power of loop and the collaborative canvas. So we want to constrain that to chats and channels because they behave in similar ways. User can organize them, the same functionalities there. More and more, we want to kind of have similar experiences across both, and then with the right guidance and constraints for users to use chats for very quick back and forth, lightweight communications, and channels for the more durable ones. That's the idea. But if there is feedback, would love to hear more in terms of how you see that being beneficial to add other entities directly to the list.
Yeah.
So how are you going to? Well, I mean, if you have a chat that needs to be moved into a team? Now you have to make sure that they all belong to the team, or do you create the team? Do you create that channel as maybe a shared channel so that you can still pull everybody over, but then you still can have the continuity of it belonging to the team?
It's a great question. So the question was, how is chat to channel going to work? We will have a future session at some point. It's still very early.
Have in mind, right?
Yes, those are the kind of exactly what you said are our considerations that we are working through in terms of how do we enable that scenario seamlessly. At the same time, one of the core purposes of doing that is to make sure that you have the right governance, security, everything associated with it. So that's what we are working through. And rest assured that we will ensure that when it happens there, two promises: we will not break collaboration, we will not break governance. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
One thing that is not here, and I just can't understand it. We have people that start teams in different places, and all of a sudden they become one big team. Why can't we move a team into another team?
A channel or a team, the whole team or channels?
Yeah.
Their channels into the team.
Into the team. So that's we are aware of the feedback. Something that we are so there is another set of investments that we plan to make in terms of how do we make this team, and because in the real world, collaboration could start in a group chat, evolve into a channel, maybe a private channel, initially with a scope set of people, then it expands to everybody in the team, and then sometimes, project changes hands and changes ownership from team A to team B. We are working. The experiences that you're seeing right now are more user experience changes for the end user. There is no changes to the structure. There is no changes to the governance. But as we get to those scenarios that you are mentioning, there would be more structural changes required. And that is why we are being very careful, intentional about thinking that through and working together with the MVP community, with a lot of our customers in private preview, etc., to learn what the scenarios are. How do we build it in a way that is both great for collaboration? The promise that we want to make is that the collaboration spaces evolve along with your collaboration needs. Today, it's more the other way around, that you have to adjust your collaboration style to the spaces that you have available. So we are very much aware of the feedback and working really hard towards making that a possibility, but it'll take some more time to evolve it.
One last question. The channel, I mean, the teams that you can add, those can be external teams as well, right, in the same view?
So what you can do is, it's not, so you,
On the team channel.
correct. So if you have,
I have a Microsoft channel that I want to be able to get to, and I don't want to have to keep,
no, so two parts to that. So question was that, what about external teams and channels, right? So today we support two types of external collaboration. One is if you are a guest in a different organization, in that mode, you will have to switch to that tenant, because the reason being that that team and channel is hosted in that tenant. In that mode, what you do is, after you switch, you get the same organizational capabilities, but it does not bring that channel or team into your home team or channel.
Added as guests and external people in the same channel.
Correct.
At the beginning, right?
If you have an external chat, that would show up and you can organize it. There is no difference. The second thing that you can do is, if your collaboration is via shared channels,
Yes.
and then the channel would show up naturally where you are.
External. It's still-
It'll still show up. It'll show up with an external badge on it, clearly telling you that this is not hosted in your tenant. It's hosted in a different tenant. But similar to external chats, it would just show up in your tenant, and you can organize the chats channels exactly the same way you organize any of your internal chats and channels.
MTOs, if you have MTO, the
It'll work automatically.
logo will be there as well.
Correct. Because if you are in an MTO, we use external chats and shared channels by default,
Yes.
right? So, yeah. Thank you. Great questions. Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. No problem at all. This is why we're here. We love the feedback and questions. Thank you so much. And I'll give a couple tips, and then I'll throw it back to Roshan for some closing thoughts too around our philosophy of channels. Last couple tips. Let's talk about keyboard shortcuts, because this is really transformative for us, and I think it will be for you if you haven't used these yet. With Command G, I can go into go-to mode, or Control G on your Windows device, and my search box will say go-to, and with just a couple keystrokes, I can narrow this list down. I can search across chats and individual contacts as well as channels. Hit the enter button, and I jump right to that. So in practice, I use this all the time to go to our home channel. So I hit Command G, HOM, enter, and I'm instantly there. So
You
anytime-
should give it a try. It's really, really powerful, because it's hard to show it in a demo because none of those are relatable. But if you try it with your own client and hit Control G or Command G, and then one character or two character at most, it will identify who you are trying to, especially if that's a frequent.
How do we get that to the users though? So I mean, do we have the ability to give prompts, like little notifications?
Oh, yeah.
All yours. I'd like to be able to share those.
Yeah. Well, I will say we do. It's the question was, are there ways for, say, admins in the organization to tell end users about some of these cool new features? Not directly in the client. We do have some great materials on our adoption page, which you can reuse. There's a PowerPoint deck called an ebook, and you can reuse these slides and share them out. And they cover all of these features we've been talking about today. So yeah, but great question. Last keyboard shortcut is Command N. When I hit Command N for new message, in the same way that I could look for a chat or a channel in GoTo, I can do that here too. You can start a new message, of course, to a new group chat, say, but if I want to get right back into the marketing channel, and I just, again, with a couple keystrokes and hit enter, I'm now into a new post on that channel. So new message is no longer just about adding to a chat, but it can be about getting back to that durable channel and making your, whatever's in your mind, getting it down and posting it for the team. But I heard some feedback. We were talking about some cases, and we've talked to a lot of customers, moving from other chat apps into Teams. I think we might be out of time for that demo. I'll show you real quick, and then we'll get you a recap. Just wanted to say that this is coming out very soon. Under the ... menu, keyboard shortcuts, you'll be able to choose shortcuts that are familiar to you from other products that I won't name, but Command K is the shortcut that you may be used to with muscle memory for that go-to mode quick search. And you can apply that here to replace your Control G or Command G, and you hit apply, and that will change your keyboard shortcuts. This is another great way for those customers who are moving over to Teams to keep that muscle memory in those settings.
And
So,
this
yeah.
is also a refreshed experience. I don't know if you notice, if you just go to the overflow and say keyboard shortcuts, we now have a very simple experience that shows you all the keyboard shortcuts. And if you are anywhere in the experience, Derek, if you don't mind, if you just go to the compose box or something and hit command period. So what it does is, anywhere it will bring that up automatically, and depending on which scenario it is, it will have the context at the top, right? Like if you invoke it from a certain kind of like experience, it will actually automatically show you what the best keyboard shortcuts for that context are.
Yeah.
Thank you for not telling us to go to Copilot.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, great questions. Please find us for more questions and comments too after the session. We have a lightning talk at 5, but there's a few other things to close out from Roshan on our philosophy with channels and the future of channels. So yeah, take it away.
Thanks, Derek. So as you would have noticed, like one of the questions we got very early on as we were designing this new experience and everything is, hey, how does Microsoft view chats and channels? Are we thinking chats are more important because we are putting Teams and channels below chat? No, that was not at all the intent. For us, like both chats and channels are important, but we believe that in terms of getting users to use channels more, we wanted to bring channels into the flow of work. Because as you see the experience today, what we have noticed, talking to customers, looking at the data, etc., is that users tend to start in chats because it's directed messages, it's quick, it's back and forth. So users tend to start there, and then they tend to check Teams and channels infrequently. It's out of sight, out of mind. We wanted to kind of stop doing that and actually bring channels into the flow of work. And what that means is that now, if you look at the at-mention experience, if you look at the badge count on the chat app, if you look at how you organize custom sections, your favorite chats are here, your pin chats were here, your pin channels were there, right? No, now they are together, right? So all of this kind of naturally nudges the user to tell them that, hey, think about it from a collaboration perspective. And if you have channels where the collaboration is happening, they are as important or even more important than chat. So that is the principle. And one quick note, on Monday, I believe, we published a blog post, which is how to make the best out of the new chats and channels experience, which contains a whole bunch of tips and tricks, including individual, small animated GIFs that actually show you how to use that experience. So if you want to kind of use that for your organization's adoption, etc., that would be a great one. Question here?
It's on Tech Community. So search for Tech Community. Get started with the new chats and channels experience.
If you just search for Microsoft Teams blog, you likely land on it as the first thing, right? This is one of the most recent blogs, but if you just look at the tech. The overall Teams blog, and we can kind of go ahead. Sorry, Derek. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. It's Tech Community is is one of the websites that we post blogs and have community feedback.
This is where what's new in Teams and Teams Ignite information, Teams build, all of that information gets published to that blog.
Yeah.
Right. So we are at time. So I'll kind of bring this home very quickly, like as you would have seen, right? We are working towards channels being this hub for durable collaboration in M365, right? We want to coalesce collaboration that is fragmented today across multiple group chats, everywhere, like email, etc., and coalesce that into one space. And we believe that the right space for doing that is channels. And we know that collaboration does not start and end with messages, right? There are a lot more, and not just Microsoft. Like, if you talk, we talked about Planner, we talked about SharePoint. We did not get a chance to demo Loop, but that is a very powerful scenario as well in M365. We want channels also to be this hub where these different collaboration modalities come in, not just Microsoft solutions, but third party as well, right? Like channels form this connective tissue where applications, bots, etc., can actually play a role. And as all of you are very much aware, like, we are moving towards an AI and agentic future. And then channels, one of the concerns we hear from customers all the time is that I need, when I unleash AI onto my organization, I am not sure how much information is actually kind of being accessed by AI, what is the constraint, what is the grounding. Channels form this, nice encapsulation or unit of encapsulation where you can bring in all of this information and have a nice boundary. Somebody new joins the organization, you add them to the relevant teams and channels, and you know exactly what they have access to, nothing beyond that. At the same time, having the confidence that they have access to everything, and the same thing can apply to an agent in the future as well. And all of this built on the rich security and governance and compliance of M365. So that was a session for today. We would be hanging, we have folks from the team's product team. We will be hanging around for a little more time if you have questions. But thank you so much for the very engaging
thank
session.
you. Great feedback, great questions. Thank you so much.